Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, and welcome, people, to episode 196 of Dude and a Monkey. I am one of your co-hosts, Marc Foster, and as ever, I am joined by...
Ian Loring, hello.
Hello, we have a normal, standard show to bring you this week. We've not got a show we're going to cover shitloads of films of one particular series, or we've not got our end-of-year show, or a blah, blah, blah. We've got just a normal... one review, some what we've been watching, which we can catch up on a few bits. And I don't think we might have some questions. We'll chat some trailers and we'll chat some sort of other filmy news bits and everything like that. But it's our regular formatted show, which is quite unique. We've had a bit of a hectic few months, which always happens around this time of year to go through. But yeah, it's nice to get back into the standardised flow of things.
Yeah, I think the last normal show that we did was Passengers, and that feels like forever ago.
Yeah, that was nearly 2 months ago, I think now.
Yeah, because we did Playing It Forward after that as well, which incidentally we have penciled in a date for the next Playing It Forward.
Yes.
So that we're going to record it Oscars weekend.
Yeah.
Oscarbation, I'd still like to try and do something. I need to talk to Donna about that, but I think if you're going to watch the whole thing, I'll at least pop up for a couple of hours and we could maybe record something then.
Yeah, I'm going to try and watch the whole thing. And I am then in work in the morning, but I'm on an early, so I'm going to leave early and then come home and sleep.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking if I sleep a few hours beforehand, and if Donna's all right with going into work a bit later, I can sleep a few hours after, and then maybe I'll get away with it. But I've got to look after Lottie the day after, and I need to be awake because otherwise she's going to drive me insane. So it is a little bit like that, to be honest.
Yeah, well, we'll certainly work some out. We'll certainly bring you some form of Oscar coverage, and it's coming up quick, is what we'll say on that. Is it the BAFTAs that tonight, or is it tomorrow night?
The BAFTAs is tonight. Yeah, the BAFTAs is tonight. BBC
BAFTAs
doing
tonight,
their usual thing of fucking showing it after the BAFTAs have actually been on. And editing the speeches and stuff like that as well. Like, that's the thing. It's like with that kind of thing, it's like I wanna watch it like to contribute to the viewing figures, because I'll watch it. We're cord cutters here, so like everything I watch through iPlayer. So it's like they'll log me as a watch on iPlayer. I know they will, and I kind of want to support that because I think film gets a pretty rough ride on BBC as it is. So
because they rally against it. That's why they don't make it easy. I think they actively. Don't get me wrong, I am not a bastard of the BBC. I think the BBC does some fantastic work. However, I do feel that when they drop the ball, they drop it massively. Sling it on BBC 4. BBC 4, is that still a thing?
Straight up, yeah, it is. Whole thing on BBC 4. Do highlights on BBC 1. Done. Yeah. That's all you have to do.
You know, it's ridiculous. You could even stream the whole, even if you don't want to put it on an actual channel, stream the whole thing.
Yeah.
On BBC iPlayer, BBC 3, which I think is just iPlayer only now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
There you go. BBC fucking 3 or BBC Arts, whatever you want to fucking call it. There you go. Stream the whole BAFTAs live.
Say what you want.
Unless there's some kind of rights issue that they've got to take out. Unless there's something like, because is it still brought to you by Orange? Is the BAFTA still brought to you by Orange?
Yeah, it's the EE.
Or EE. Yeah. Unless it's something to do with that, where they've got to take out all that bit where they say BAFTA's brought to you by EE. Unless it's something like that because of advertising bullshit, which it is plausible that it could be. Then even that you could do that on a 5-minute delay. But the world moves too quickly nowadays in terms of media for you to be able to stream something 10 minutes afterwards, like they used to do with the Brit Awards. In 1997, streaming putting the Brit Awards on 15 minutes after it actually happened, you couldn't find out who fucking won on your fucking phone. It's silly. It's just silly.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, say what you want about Sky. If Sky had the rights, they'd do the whole thing.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Is it shows? It almost, in a weird way, because BAFTA have been so belligerent about it and keeping it on BBC, so they want to keep it free to access. It's a little bit damaging the brand by association, because if they showed it on Sky would make a bigger deal of it. They wouldn't maybe make the same deal they do of the Oscars, but they wouldn't do it. It would probably wouldn't be far off. There'd definitely be somebody presenting it. They'd have a panel there, and it would be a night. They'd dedicate a night to it. Whereas the BBC, it's kind of like they shoehorn it in. They go, oh, fucking BAFTA site. Shit.
Yeah.
We'll do it like that. Yeah, we'll sort it out.
Yeah, I that sounds pretty fucking right, actually. Yeah. Sorry. I don't have any more to add to that.
Well, has there been anything in the wonderful world of film that's happened this week that we should that we need to discuss or anything? I don't know whether anything's happened this week.
Well, the new Halloween film.
Oh, of course, yes, yeah. This is really fucking interesting, actually.
Yeah. So David Gordon Green, who was attached to the Suspiria remake for ages, before Luca Guadagnino, or whatever his name is, the guy who did A Bigger Splash, he's now doing that. I think which
kind of feels right. I think that you've got an international filmmaker doing Suspiria.
Yeah, I mean,
for some reason, it just sits nicer.
Tilda Swinton in a Suspiria remake is just that is so spot on. And Dakota Johnson'd, funnily enough, taking on the lead role. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. But yeah, so he was attached to that for ages, then kind of dropped off it, and they've been saying when they announced this new Halloween project to be produced by Jason Blum and with Carpenter involved in more of a sense than give me the check than he usually is. They announced that they were talking to directors and stuff, and Mike Flanagan was being strongly signposted, but they were also saying maybe Adam Wingard and Simon Barrett were maybe gonna do it. I'm assuming their Blair Witch experience has probably scared them off it.
I would say that's more likely scared Jason Blum off it.
Yeah, or that. Yeah, I mean,
I think the three of them, between them, might have actually had a conversation and gone, do you know what? After the way that went, maybe it's not a good idea that we touch this. You've been good to us, we've been good to you. Let's not fuck up that relationship by fucking this up.
Yeah. No, that's true.
They're making other stuff. It's not like it's going to damage their career not making it.
No, quite. I mean, Adam Wingard's got the Death Note remake, which is a Netflix original, which I'm interested in, and then they're both doing the. I think they're still on the I Saw the Devil remake, which we'll see how that goes.
Did you see Simon Barrett's tweet from the John Wick premiere?
Yeah, I did. Remind me, but I know you retweeted it, didn't you?
Yeah, he tweeted saying that his highlight of the John Wick premiere was not just the film, but Gary Busey shouting, "Hey Utah," Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. Fuck. Oh, John Wick 2 next week. Yes. Anyway. So David Gordon Green.
That's a really interesting choice.
I'm fucking fascinated by this.
He's a fascinating director because he's done things like Pineapple Express and Your Highness, but he's also done things like The Real Girls, and even I think the Sitter, as stupid it is, has actually got an awful lot going on under the. I'm a big fan of the series. It's got a really great soundtrack, and there's some sort of depth there. The conversation that Jonah Hill has with Max Records about him being gay. You put that in a different style of movie. That scene is spoken about as like a scene for our times, I think. And both of them play it really well. I have a deep fondness for the Sitter, but it's also incredibly stupid as well at the same time. I'm a big fan of it, and it's it's an interesting idea, and the fact that you've got
Danny McBride.
That Bride coming on to write kind of feels like, do you know what? Yeah, I can see that. I can see him being able to co-write a straight up Halloween because the guy loves movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I mean, I mean, Stanley McBride, he's going to be, well, he's in Alien Covenant as well. You know, it's good on him. He's showing he's not just redneck comedy relief.
Yeah, because you do look at him, he's a very funny actor. He's got a very good shtick and everything like that. But you definitely could see him having this kind of second career as coming out with something and people going, you know what? He's a really fucking good actor.
Yeah, no, quite. And I mean, the thing is, they'll get a good cast now. You know, Blum being involved already had me intrigued. Carpenter being involved had me hopeful. This just adds to the I would like to see this now, please factor of the whole thing.
And Carpenter also stating that there's a possibility he might be doing the score as well, or doing some of the score. That's really interesting.
No, I mean that's the fact that he is actually right. Okay, I'm gonna somewhat give a shit about this, and I mean I think the whole what happened with the Rob Zombie one has probably burned him a bit.
Yeah,
you know, and especially because didn't Zombie come out a while back with some like shit saying that like Carpenter just basically said to him, "Fucking do whatever you want. I don't give a fuck." And then Carpenter just came out and said that's not what happened at all.
Zombie said that Carpenter said that do whatever I don't give a fuck, and then actually came out and said that he actually he dug the movie and liked where he'd taken it and liked what he'd done. And Carpenter kind of came out and said that's not entirely true. To be honest, I don't. He basically said I don't dislike it as such. It's not what I intended for the Halloween. I'm happy for him to have his thing. But I didn't say I liked it. I didn't say do whatever the fuck you want. You have my blessing. That's not exactly what happened. But apparently, Rob Zombie did come out and kind of say, look, everything kind of got a bit mixed up in different interviews and everything like that. And it's not, and they admit that they both kind of spoke on the phone and kind of sorted things out with that. So they're not at war, as has been reported.
Okay. Well, yeah. It's just, I'm assuming this is going to be like October 2018. We're not seeing this year, I would imagine. So, can't wait. And Blum. It's all about the Blum. I'll be honest with you. If there was like one person we could ever get on this show to interview, I'd be quite tempted to say Jason Blum would be it. Because I think he's the person I mention more than virtually any other film-related person on this podcast.
Well, I think the thing is, we both of us have a deep affinity for genre and horror movies. It is a, we are both huge, big film fans in general, and I like to think that we cover like a very wide kind of aspect of films, and we're both quite film literate in the sense of we don't shy away from any particular genre, and we both have loves for genres that maybe some people wouldn't say that they have that kind of love for. I'll happily admit to my enjoying romantic comedies, and we'll defend them to the fucking hilt. But what Jason Blum is doing there is he's essentially created a production company to kind of give horror and genre a bit more credence and a bit of, look, do you know what? It doesn't have to just be shock horror. It doesn't just have to be gore for the sake of gore. What made people like horror wasn't just the tits and the gore. It was the freakiness of it, the weirdness, the claustrophobia, that icky feeling that it gave you, and that wasn't just made by showing an eyeball being pulled out or a fucking rape scene or anything like that. It was made by these people who had these interesting ideas and these interesting ways to frame things and show you things. And yes, gore was sometimes a part of it, and the sexual aspects of it were a part of it, but there was so much more. You look at Halloween is a prime example of it. Not the first stalk and slash movie ever made, but the one that kind of brought it more to the masses, more than Black Christmas did. But there's not that much gore in it. Yes, there's a boob shot, but it's not a full-on sex shot. It's not a rape scene or anything like that. But it's still an incredibly freaky film to watch, and I've watched it dozens of times and still showing it to a younger audience. Its atmosphere, there's all of that, and I think that what Jason Blum's doing there is he gives these filmmakers the ability to transfer that to the screen. He's doing some great work, and I'd agree it'd be fascinating to just kind of to speak to something like that about why and what else he'd like to do, where else he wants to go, and is he just genre, or does he want to turn it in 10, 15 years time into one of the the massive powerhouses that it could be. It's just essentially fucking building a new Miramax.
Yeah, no, I mean, certainly, like, he's got the dimension bit down. It's just getting the Miramax bit. I mean, like, fuck, motherfucker produced Whiplash, Yeah. He's an Oscar nominee for Whiplash, which is amazing, which is awesome, Yeah, I mean, long may the guy continue, and fuck, man, like, that is one of the most interesting projects of 2018, or whenever it comes out.
The casting for that's just going to be, it's so interesting on who they get and how they do it, and you have a feeling it'll be dealt with quite sensibly with those guys.
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah.
So, moving on, Ian, trailers. What have you been watching this week?
I watched a couple. I don't know whether you had this before, 50 Shades of Grey, but one that I'd never even fucking heard of. Unforgettable? Rosario Dawson and Katherine Heigl?
I don't think I had it before 50 Shades, or did I? I might have. There was an awful lot of people using their...
darker even, sorry. But...
There's an awful lot of people using their phones for the entirety up until the film started in my screening. So I was just trying to not fucking have an aneurysm.
Nice. I mean, this looks like catnip for you, to be honest.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, so it's basically, what is it? It's like Rosario Dawson has gotten with this guy who has a kid from a previous marriage, and he was previously married to Katherine Heigl. And, like, because she's the mother of the kid or something, like, she's in their lives. But then Katherine Heigl goes a bit mad and basically says, you stole my husband, you stole my life, now I'm going to sabotage everything. And it's like Rosario Dawson being framed for shit and Katherine Heigl being all psycho.
So Katherine Heigl being Katherine Heigl.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of stunned that it looks direct to video, like genuinely does. But if this thing is 90 minutes, sure. If it's anything longer than an hour and 45, and then I'm out.
I will watch the trailer later on.
Yeah, do it. It looks like a Thursday lunchtime Netflix watch,
Yes.
Also the Lego Ninjago movie. I don't know. It looks like it could be fun. It looks basically younger skewing than even Lego Movie or Lego Batman movie. So we'll see. I'll go take Lottie to see it, and I won't begrudge it.
Yeah, I probably won't go and see that at the cinema. Is what I'll say.
No, fair enough. Yeah, I mean it's Lego Movie, Lego Batman. Didn't have a problem going to see it by myself. I saw both of them by myself. I'm actually going to take Lottie to see Lego Batman tomorrow, and I'm quite looking forward to having another go at that. Actually, as much as I was ever so slightly cool on it last week, I kind of like look for visual in-jokes more, I'm quite looking forward to that experience. But whereas with Lego Ninjago, there's no way I'd go and see it if I didn't have Lottie, but she'll probably have a blast with it for an hour and a half, so fair play.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's, again, Lego Ninjago thing seems to be a little bit like, very much, they're making one for the fans of Lego and hoping to get a few people in from the Lego movie world they've created as well. Because the Lego Ninjago is huge for Net Lego, and I think it's a little bit like them going, we're not doing one for our film fans now, we're doing one for our Lego and our games fans.
Yeah,
which I think is a really cool thing to do.
It's important as well.
Yeah.
But, because as I was kind of saying last week, I think Lego Movie and Lego Batman Movie, I'm unsure how much of those are for kids at certain points, whereas this does look like it's for kids. And
Yeah.
I mean, I'm good, frankly, you know. Even then again, I mean, like Noel said he took Charlie to see Lego Batman and he loved it. And yeah, I'm so intrigued to see what Lottie thinks about it. But yeah, anyway, I'll go see it. Fuck. The thing is, though, compared to like The Boss Baby, I would go to see The Boss Baby by myself because I'm gonna take Lottie, but I would see that by myself because I need to know how that film works. Like, I think that's out around Easter, and I need to know how that thing works. I refer people to episode whatever. I think it was the one before Rogue One. But yeah, I refer people to that for The Boss Baby. But yeah,
The Boss Baby is out at the end of March, I believe.
Yeah, so that feels Eastery. Yeah, okay. Intriguing. Also, I saw the trailer for the Circle.
Yes.
Which is the new James Ponsoldt film, the guy who did The Spectacular Now, which was great. I haven't seen the end of the tour yet. It's on Netflix, I believe, so I should get to that. Yeah, it looks interesting, this. Like, it's basically Emma Watson goes to work for Google. Google's run by Tom Hanks. Google's not as nice as it appears to be. Sure, why not? I'll watch Tom Hanks be... It's like, I'm intrigued to see Tom Hanks be sinister. Like,
yeah, I am. The thing about Tom Hanks, and we said it before on here, the weird thing about Tom Hanks is how much of the fact that he actually is a character actor at his core, and we get used to people saying, "Oh, Tom Hanks, yeah, you know, he's such the everyman. He's, you know, the great thing is with Tom Hanks, he's Tom Hanks and everything." It's like, actually, no, he's not. He really isn't at all. He's actually a really good character actor. You think of his standout roles that people remember him for, they're all characters and very well formed characters. So yeah, it'll be, like I say, it's interesting to see him with something that he can get his teeth into a little bit more. And it's nice the fact that he's doing stuff that he can get his teeth into a little bit more. He did seem to be coasting for a good number of years.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but I mean, like, I don't know, like, he's a guy who bounces between Cloud Atlas, Sully, a hologram for a king. You know,
he's so much more interesting than I think he's ever given credit for.
I'd agree with that. Yeah. I mean,
as an actor, and I still maintain that it genuinely fucking annoys me when people ever accuse Forrest Gump of being one of the most undeserving Best Picture winners because it happened to be the same year as things like Shawshank Redemption and things like that. It's like, right, for a start off, nobody went to see Shawshank fucking Redemption at the cinema. They didn't. That fucker found its niche on home video, and that's where it became beloved. You know, it did mediocre. You could almost say it was a bomb at the cinema. And Forrest Gump's a really fucking good film. I don't care what people say. When people say
years, man. Yeah.
Years. I watched it a couple of years ago and thought, oh God. I rewatched it, was like, this is a fucking really good movie. It's fun. It's a lot more black and biting than I ever fucking gave it credit for. But it is a really, really cracking movie. And I've seen it so many times in the past fucking few weeks since the Oscar noms came out saying the most undeserved Oscar winners of all time. It's like, it's fucking really not. That motherfucker is as Best Picture as you can get.
Yeah, that's fair. And my last one is Sofia Coppola's new film, The Beguiled.
I didn't watch this trailer. I meant to watch it. I just pressed play on it then by accident. But I meant to watch it, but I think I started watching it and I had to go do something and I forgot to watch it when I came back to it.
Nice. Very, very good. So, if I remember correctly, I believe, it's a remake of a 1971 Don Siegel film starring Clint Eastwood. And it looks really interesting. It's like a bunch of women find Colin Farrell like injured or something, and they kind of fix him up, and then it maybe ever so slightly goes Black Narcissus in almost like female hysteria, like caused by men or something, you know. But with Sofia Coppola, it's going to be a lot more complicated than that, I think. This looks interesting. It looks like it could be very, very creepy and very tense. I mean, who's it? It's I think it's Nicole Kidman, Kirsten Dunst, Elle Fanning.
Yeah.
Which is like good casting, and I think Colin Farrell as injured soldier who provokes women to go a bit mad could. Even again, I don't think it's going to be as simplistic about that. I'm making it sound very reductive, and I don't mean to.
Yeah, there'll be something there. I can't see Sofia Coppola doing that.
Yeah, no, exactly.
That sounds a little bit more like an Eli Roth movie.
Yes, yeah, no, exactly, yeah. But yeah, it looks interesting. What can I say?
I didn't know she directed the A Very Merry Christmas. I didn't know that. I still haven't watched that.
I've seen that twice now, man.
I will only watch it at Christmas, so I need to watch it next Christmas because the past 2 Christmases I haven't had fucking time to watch it. I've got a couple other ones to throw in there.
Do it.
I watched the trailer for It Comes at Night, the teaser trailer.
Oh yes, how was this?
It looks interesting, you know. The thing is, it's a decent trailer, well put together trailer that makes you go, that's a good trailer, but I don't know about the movie. But Joel Edgerton, when does Joel Edgerton not do something interesting? The guy picks really, really well. So that's got me interested. Aftermath, the new Schwarzenegger one.
Oh, okay, yes.
Have you seen this?
No, I haven't.
Do you know what it's about?
No, please,
right.
No, tell me.
Arnold Schwarzenegger is on the way to pick his wife and his daughter, who is pregnant, up from the airport. Then the air traffic controller who is leading the plane in goes off to make a coffee, and then when he comes back doesn't realise that he's got 2 planes about to land at the same time, and they crash into each other. Schwarzenegger's, obviously, everybody dies in it. And there's an investigation into whether or not the air traffic controller is guilty of manslaughter, and Schwarzenegger as himself is trying to go to the grief by tracking him down to ask him just to say sorry because nobody's saying sorry for this accident happening. Well, the air traffic controller is played by Scoot McNairy.
Oh, okay.
So at that, I'm going Schwarzenegger being not action star Schwarzenegger, being a little bit more down the road of what he was like in Maggie, and looking at going, trying to display a little bit more acting chops, which he does have. You know, don't get me wrong, he's not the best actor in the world, but he is. I think he is a solid actor. It looks like there's a lot of that going on with that, and I sort of Scoot McNairy, who is a very good actor, into it. It looks quite interesting. However, what I would say is the trailer I think gives away too much.
Right. Okay.
Way too much. So if you think that sounds interesting, I'd maybe avoid the trailer.
Okay, I think I shall avoid the trailer then, I think.
All that's in the first minute of the trailer. Then the next minute of the trailer is standard kind of trailery, lots of shots of what's going on. And the last minute of the trailer, I was a bit like, whoa, I don't want to know that. I don't want to need to know that. Stop doing that. So I won't say any more. And I would advise people, that sounds like something you want to watch, honestly, people, don't watch the fucking trailer, because it might not give away too much, but it did feel like it gave away a little bit too much. And the final one I watched is The Ticket, the Dan Stevens movie that's coming out, where he seems to play a guy who has kind of been ticking along through life and has decided that he's sick of just ticking along and he wants to grab the bull by the horns. And as he grabs the bull by the horns, he ends up doing things and acting in ways that you wouldn't have normally expected him to act. And he seems to start pissing a lot of people off. It also has Melanie Ackerman, who can either be very good in stuff or very bad, but another one of those signs of a good movie. It's also got Oliver Platt in it, and again, Oliver Platt usually picks interesting stuff to be in. He plays his blind best friend. So yeah, this one I would recommend watching the trailer for. It looks very, very good, and still maintain that Dan Stevens is, and he's also in the. I've not watched it yet, but I understand it's been fantastic. The Legion, the new
Legion, yeah, man,
yeah, apparently that's very fucking interesting. He's a guy who. I still think there's a lot to come of this guy, and I do still think if they're looking to suave up Bond for the next Bond, I still think Dan Stevens is the fucking way to go.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah, I don't get me wrong, as much as I love Tom Hardy, and I think Tom Hardy would make a great Bond, I don't think he's the Bond we need right now. I don't think we need a bruising Bond straight after we've had Daniel Craig play the bruising Bond. I think we could do with the suave Bond again. Mm-hmm. It's just not that Daniel Craig's been a fantastic Bond, but I think that could work.
Yeah, no, I mean they've got some similar energies. Have Craig and Hardy, and Stevens would bring a bit of that. Yeah, like you say, that suave back for sure.
Yeah, and as well, I do genuinely think the guy's got acting chops as well from everything from the I've not seen a great amount, but he's also he's a guy who's very much looking down a certain path as well. He's playing the Beast in Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
And things like The Guest, he's chased these type of things. I saw a trailer for Beauty and the Beast before 50 Shades Darker, and was like, do you know what? Yeah, I would happily watch that.
I'm going to watch the fuck out of Beauty and the Beast. I think it looks great.
And I thought I've not. That's the first time I've started watching the trailer. I've been a little bit underwhelmed, but I saw it on the big screen and went, yeah, I'm actually really fucking looking forward to that. That looks like it's going to be a real fucking nice warm hug of a movie.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm up for that. It looks very good, yeah. So, Ian, shall we get into it?
Let's do this.
Shall we get a little bit darker?
Let's do this.
Yes. 50 Shades Darker, the follow-up to the phenomenally successful 50 Shades of Grey, a movie that we, I think, both didn't hate.
Yeah.
It was underwhelming, but all right, is what I would say. So 50 Shades Darker, it's no longer Sam Taylor Johnson directing. It's now James Foley, who, what else has he directed? He's actually got some, fairly decent things under his belt. He didn't direct Glenn Ross? I imagine that.
Pretty sure you're right.
And Perfect Stranger, The Chamber, At Close Range. So there's some decent films in there, if not loads of films in there. Returning is Dakota Johnson and Jamie Dornan. Also Rita Ora returns and has precisely 10 times more screen time, but still not a lot of screen time in this. Ashley Gray Harden's there. Bella Heathcote is also on board, as is Kim Basinger, and a couple of dudes that don't fucking matter, do they? Let's be honest. Generic dude number 1 and generic dude number fucking 2. So set directly after their breakup, it follows the story of them getting back together very, very fucking
quickly.
Yes. Ian, 50 Shades Darker, what did you think? Because this one could be fucking interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I came home from it and I was talking to Donna, and about 5 minutes into the conversation, she was like, "You seem a bit agitated." I was like, "Oh, what do you mean?" She was like, "Well, it looks like you've got like quite a lot of pent-up energy." I was like, "Right, okay then." And I think it's basically because this film's awful, but I quite enjoyed watching it just because, I mean, like, you can tell this one's directed by a man and the last one was directed by a woman. Jesus Christ. Dakota Johnson is a very attractive young lady, and there's a lot of her in this film.
That's because a big criticism of the first one, that the producers and E.L. James actually came out herself and said, was that that the first one wasn't sexy enough.
I mean, this... Yeah, fair enough.
Now, what I would back you up on what you're kind of thinking there is, is this one sexy though? It might not be sexy as such, and I am doing the little rabbit ears sexy thing. It might be sexy, but
there's a lot of sex in it.
There's a lot more sex in it.
I mean, it does, and the thing is, Dakota Johnson in that corsety kind of thing and popping those balls up in her. It's, you know, I'm a man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you have to cross your legs.
Yeah, you know, and I mean, like, the thing is, I felt sorry for the women in the audience because I think there was 3 guys in there in my audience. I spotted 2 guys with girlfriends/wives, I'm assuming, and then me by myself with a long coat.
Yeah.
I was enjoying my time with that, but then Jamie Dornan, you see his top half a few times. You see his pubes in one bit. Because I was watching because I was watching out for it. Because it was like, what are women getting out of this?
Well, no, but the other bit is what are women getting out of this? It's their idea of Christian is what they're getting. This is a thing that we briefly spoke about before we actually started recording in terms of the fact that this is that this movie kind of seems to have crept up out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. Do you know what? It's not. And do you know how I can prove that this movie has not crept up out of nowhere? Mm. I went at 12 p.m. on Friday, the opening day of it coming out. It's the first screening in York, right, of this movie. There. I went to that screening. It was in one of the biggest screens in view, and it was virtually full.
Yeah, sure.
Right?
Yeah, I could see that. Virtually
full. And I thought, fucking hell. You know, I didn't think this film had actually been that much publicised. Do you know what it's not? It is. It has been. It's targeted marketing. It's not being publicised to me because it's not trying to tell me that this film is going on, that this film is out at this time. And it is a proof that targeted marketing works. But the movie that the women who bought the book wanted was there. And that was proven by, I had a brief conversation with 3 women who were sat in front of me while they watched it. And I had a brief conversation with them afterwards and asked them what they thought of it. And all 3 of them went, it was great, we had fun with it. They weren't looking for anything magnificent. They were looking to come watch this movie and have a bit of fun. And that was it. And I thought, I kind of just sort of stayed around and listened for people as they were coming out, which I don't normally do. And everyone seemed to have had a good time with it. Yeah, I thought, do you know what? And the thing about 50 Shades Darker is, I'm the same as you. It's not a good movie. It's not a good movie. It has the lines, oh no, I'm wearing too many clothes, right? Which is supposed to be a little bit kind of wink-wink, but it's not delivered in a wink-wink kind of way. And it also has the line, kinky fuckery.
Mate, kinky fuckery, hashtag kinky fuckery.
Kinky fuckery, I laughed out loud. Nobody else did.
Yeah,
and I laughed out fucking loud. It was the 2 times I laughed out loud, and the other one I actually said something out loud because I couldn't stop laughing and thought I was going to have to leave the screening.
What was that?
It was the fucking Chronicles of Riddick poster.
Oh, mate, yeah. It's framed in the centre of the shot between the 2 of them as well. It's the weirdest fucking...
For so long. And all I could think all through that scene was, I want to watch Chronicles of Riddick.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. It's like...
I watched Pitch Black last night, so I can watch Chronicles of Riddick this week.
Nice. I just want to finish my original thought.
Oh, sorry, yes.
No, it's okay. About women not... like, what are women getting out of this? The thing is, I knew that the women were getting enough out of it, though, because fair play... And good on the film for doing this, but doing this stuff. But there's the one bit where he's got that thing that goes between her legs.
Yeah.
And then he flips it round.
Yeah.
Audible. Oh.
Ooh, yes. I got the
in
same
my
live screening.
audience.
Yeah.
And you know what? Boom. There you go. Fair enough.
As
Fair enough.
as a fan of cinema and the cinema experience, yeah. Do you know what? Like when I went to see Ghostbusters, and I had some people who were disabled. No,
Oh,
I think I'm allowed to say that.
Yeah,
and every
yeah.
time the theme tune came on, they started waving their arms and humming along. Right? Do you know what? That didn't fucking bother me. If that had been a group of teenagers that were just being dickheads, it'd have pissed me off.
Yeah.
But them doing that didn't bother me. That was them enjoying the shit out of the movie. In the same way as the oohs and the woos and the giggles for this was the women, and I'm not saying women, but there was me and one other guy who was sat across from me, who I actually thought was a woman because the said guy, for a start off, brought packeted sweets that he had to unwrap, right, to a fucking cinema. Yeah. And he kept unwrapping for like the first 20 minutes, and it was making me actually literally scratch my eyes.
Sure.
And then the fucker started using his phone, and I did lean across and said, "Excuse me, miss, could you stop using your phone, please?" And it wasn't until the end of the film that I turned round and went, "Whoa, you're a guy."
Yeah.
And he was like, "What?" I went, "You look like a fat woman." To which he responded with, "That's incredibly rude." He was like, "Oh, sorry, were you using your phone throughout the movie? That wasn't rude." Was it? And that was when the women who were in front of me turned around and went, "I can see why you've come to see this film on your own."
Really? Oh.
Yeah. And I was like, "Sorry." They went, "Oh no, we're not, no judgment here." And that was when I asked if they'd enjoyed the movie.
That's pretty funny. No, I mean, the thing is, it is rubbish.
It's terrible.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
but I actually, it's a lot sweeter. It's a lot more playful. It's not as bogged down in fucking misery and 50 Shades of fucked up as the first one. There are shades of that. The whole right. Where are my boundaries? And then he gives the lipstick and she draws the boundaries on.
I'll be honest, I was laughing during that.
I was laughing at that, right? But not only that, they then have sex. He then gets ready for a ball, goes to the ball, they have sex again at the ball, then they go home, have sex in the shower, and it's still on him.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, he's going to have had at least one shower in between that, isn't he?
Yeah. I mean, it was... I mean, also... The scene where James Foley realises that nothing much has happened for the last hour and a half, so I better insert a random helicopter crash. Like, that was amazing.
Which has virtually... Oh my God.
It has no bearing on anything whatsoever. It's incredible.
They're missing. Nobody knows where they are. Then he just fucking walks in covered in blood. Yeah, right. In an age of fucking mobile phones and a camera in everybody's pocket, and a billionaire, not only a billionaire, a very eligible billionaire, right, can crash and then can get from the crash back to his apartment when everyone thinks he's missing and dead without anybody seeing him. Bullshit. I'm calling bullshit.
I mean, you've got that, and you've got Max Martini's incredibly inspired method performance, where he appears to be determined to have every single one of his lines be Miss Steele.
Yeah.
A variation, except for one where he actually says Anna, and it's during like a critical moment.
I get the feeling that Taylor, his character, right, has a great fucking scene. Has a great scene where he either chews out Christian or he saves Anna from something in the 50 Shades Freed, the final one. Yeah. Because why is Max Martini there if he doesn't have a my time to fucking shine moment?
Yeah, exactly. It's very odd. And I would like to discuss a thing that we were talking about briefly on WhatsApp earlier on. 5 minutes from the end of this film, I'm thinking the 50 Shades Freed is going to be 50 Shades of Kim Basinger hamming the fuck up and having a great time doing it for 2 hours.
Yeah. Because like you said on our WhatsApp, she's perfectly cast as that and plays it very well. She's quite a lot of a kind of, not, I wouldn't know, fun in it, but she's unsettling.
She knows the tone. She knows the tone.
Yes.
Who would you cast as an S&M Mrs. Robinson? Kim Basinger.
Works perfect.
You know, it's, I mean, like, in terms of American, anyway, I mean, like, you could, there's a lot of European actresses who I think could probably do that, but American actress of that appropriate age, Kim Basinger.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I mean, it's going to be her. So, at the end of the film, where it's, right, it kind of looks like she's actually out of the picture, and now you've got random rapey boss.
Which he goes from being, no, it's all right, I'll bring you tea.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're all cool, to, here, meet my boyfriend, and Christian Grey is a dick to him. And he's like, sorry, don't matter. To then being, no, do as I tell you, lock door. Look, I'm not asking you to fuck me, but I'm telling you you're going to have to.
Yeah.
It's a bit like, whoa, you went 50 Shades Darker really fucking quickly.
Yeah.
You are the darker. They're not. They're 50 Shades of fucking rainbow at the moment, Anastasia and Christian. You're the darker. Where's this come from?
No,
Exactly. And then he gets fired and he's just smoking a cigarette and just fucking burning pictures and just fucking staring at them. You're thinking, you're probably not going to win this. He's got a lot of bodyguards and billions and, you know, Dakota Johnson is hot, don't get me wrong, but you're a good-looking guy. You could probably, you know, find somebody else.
Yeah, no, I mean, there is...
What Jimmy Donald should do is he should introduce Bella Heathcote to
him.
And just go, there you go. And, you've got this going on now. And
I mean, oh God, Bella Heathcote, yeah, I mean, the film tries to invent, which I'm sure is like the book as well, because the screenplay's written by E.L. James' husband, so... Yeah.
Yes, the famed writer of Balakis Angel.
Niall Leonard, I think his name is, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, the film has to invent drama by having Bella Heathcote in it as mysterious, messed up woman.
Yeah.
And then it kicks off a plot point, which I thought was interesting about the whole she's still submissive to him.
Yeah.
And you know, and I was like, where is this going to go? This is really interesting. But then it's like Dakota Johnson walks around for a few hours, comes back. Jamie Dornan says, actually, you can touch the middle of my chest if you want, and then it's fine again. I mean,
this film, like a lot of our things we were saying about the first one, is a lot of, we can't do this, we don't do this, we don't do this, this isn't allowed. Really? Yeah, really. Okay then, well, I'm not happy about that. Well, all right then, we can do it. That is a lot of that. Like, you know, you can never stay over, I'll never stay over. You just have. You literally just have. You can't touch here, you can't touch around, these are my boundaries. All right, well, I'm cool with that. All right, you can touch me if you want that. It's that. But I don't know, I more bought the chemistry between them a little bit more before it.
I'm not entirely sure about that. I mean, the thing is, I mean, like, you've got the bit where she's like, I want to take it slow, and then 2 minutes later, they're fucking.
Yeah.
And it just, like, the first one, it ended on a note where it's like, I am an independent woman, and I'm saying to you, Christian, no, this is too far. You're 50 Shades of fucked up. You said it yourself. Done. I'm done. This one, yes, he's saying, oh, I need you. Oh, I don't need any of that. I need you. But then by the end of it, he's got her in the red room.
But it's her choice. She wanted to go in there. The thing is there. It's become. It's before there was a contract and it was under his instructions and his orders, and it's almost like she's now saying, do you know what? When I'm not being told I have to do it, and I'm not the submissive, It's more of a, well, we can try it. I'm happy to dip my toe. What I don't want is to be told where I am allowed to dip my fucking toe,
You've argued that successfully.
and how fucking far it's got to go up my leg and stuff like that. There's that. It's a whole. I was reading a little bit about the whole submissive and dominant relationship thing this week, because I was reading some articles about this and kind of went down that fucking rabbit hole you go down. And reading about it, and it was saying that
how did the contract negotiations with Becky go?
I still have zero rights like I had before when we started, but now I'm wearing some uncomfortable beads.
I'd like to see that contract, incidentally.
I will send it over for your perusal. So it was saying that like there's a tracking online activity of people is that there's a rise in the whole idea of the sub-dom relationship thing, but the sub-dom kind of world that was already there and community that was already there have kind of come out and gone, it's bullshit. It's not actually sub-dom, it's people dipping their toe into it and wanting to try different little bits of it and calling it a sub-dom relationship, because that's what these new younger people who are like 20 years old think a sexual relationship is, that all sexual relationships are, well, are you sub or are you dom? It's like, most people are neither. Most people are just, they just have a sexual relationship. Now young people are going, oh, no, that's a switch. And it's like, no, it's this constant fucking need to categorise everything and pigeonhole everything and say, well, this is this, and this is this, and this is this, and this is this. It's like, no, it's not. Sometimes people just have sex, and sometimes people want to use a fucking brace to have sex, or sometimes people want to use a fucking paddle. It doesn't mean they're involved in a sub-dom relationship.
I need a wee, but before I do so, I'm in a sub-don relationship. I do everything my wife tells me to.
And you're fucking loving it, aren't you?
Oh, I get spanked every now and then, I can't complain. Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know, like, the film looks good.
Yeah.
Score's fine.
Yeah.
I mean,
I just really quite like the score, actually.
Yeah. No, I mean, it was good. I mean, Danny Elfman doing some, decent work there. I mean, I don't know. I mean, like we say, it's rubbish. I mean, the structure of it is basically not much happens, they have sex. Not much happens, they have sex. Not much happens, they have sex.
Yeah, it is. It's I do think it's a lot more. It's not trying to be bigger than the sum of its parts this time. It's very much. I thought Santana Wood Johnson, who is a filmmaker, isn't a filmmaker as such. She's a filmmaker who hasn't really made many films, really. So I think it's hard to call her an auteuristic filmmaker or anything like that. But she did seem like seem to have a bit of a whiff of thinking she was elevating the material, or was there to elevate the material a little bit. Whereas I don't think James Foley is. He's just there to be the steady pair of hands to guide the material through and deliver what's supposed to be delivered. And it kind of feels like that's more what this movie needed. It needed to be... The 50 Shades films should be playing to the people who are going to see the movie.
Agreed.
Not to the people who are going to see the movie to review the fucking movie. And I've seen the reason why it's going to be another one of those movies similar to like the Transformers movies, where this movie will make a shit ton of money and it will be panned by all the fucking critics saying it's terrible, it's awful, it's terrible, it's woeful, it's crap, and why are we getting this shit in cinemas, and you should go and see this because this is more worthy, and you should go and see this. And it's completely forgetting that cinema is for everybody, and the actual people who are wanting to go and see this movie and wanted this movie to be made are enjoying it largely. So why not let them enjoy it? Don't go fucking watch it. And when you're reviewing it, review it based on the movie that it is and the movie that it's trying, the people it's trying to speak to. It's not trying to get into the fucking subtext of a sub-dom relationship. It's trying to tell the story of these two people as it was written in a book by somebody who fucking wrote Twilight fan fucking fiction.
Yeah.
It literally, fucking. Why get you poison one about it? Just enjoy Dakota Johnson's beautiful fucking ass and Jamie Dornan's wonderful fucking chest on a fucking pommel horse.
I'll be honest. Oh my god, yeah. To be fair,
wow.
I was ever so slight. I was a bit aroused by that.
I was fucking fully aroused by that. And I'm not ashamed to admit. I was watching going, it's got to be fucking wires. There's got to be wires. If not, fair enough. We all know Jamie Dornan's a bit of a prick, but bravo, man. Bravo.
The film could have done with more of that. That's it really could have. Like, it just. I mean, like, if ladies like looking at Dakota Johnson, then great, you know.
And they do, apparently.
You know, I mean, it just. Let's have a bit of cock.
Yeah, it is. We've not the first time we've said this, that there should be more wang in movies.
Yeah, man. I mean...
What are you hiding, Jamie?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. There's a new Conan game out that has wang physics, and you can adjust the size of wangs and tits.
Oh, wait, what? Whoa. What?
Yeah, this Conan Exiles, I think it's called. You can adjust. There's dick physics, so it will, like, depending on how big you make it, it will bounce about at a certain rate. And the same for boobs, apparently.
Can I get this on my PS4?
I don't think so. It's in early access on Steam at the moment, but yeah.
Okay. That sounds magnificent.
Yeah, but anyway, so that's the thing. If a video game can do that, and they basically said, like, we wanted to do both because equality, basically, you know,
yep.
It's like, share that love. I mean, obviously, like, erect penises, I think, are a no-no for an R.
They are a no-no for an R.
Yeah, okay, so I suppose that kind of negates the whole thing, really, because you couldn't really have a floppy, because then what would be the point? But I don't know.
But why does he always keep his trousers on when he's fucking?
Because that's it, isn't it? It's like, it's always like, he just like, and by the way, I loved. There was one particular, I think, where they were in the Red Room, where the music was building up, and it was like, this is the beat's gonna kick in. He's gonna thrust as soon as that beat kicks in.
Yeah.
And yes, it did. You know, but yeah, I mean, that's exactly it. At least get him in his like boxers so they can have a look at his arse.
Yeah, or give us his ass.
Or just give us his arse. I mean, that's the thing. And the thing is, I'm sounding like, you know, like, oh, is that all that women want? And it's like, well, no, because you get to see an awful lot of Dakota Johnson, and I am perfectly okay with that. Okay with that. Let's have some Jamie Dornan arse or cock and balls as well, because it's only fair.
Can we have some fucking wang in the next one, please?
Yeah, go on, just a tip of wang.
Just a tip of wang.
Or just a dense bulge.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, that's it. So,
remind me, that's the episode title.
50 Shades Darker. Where are you landing on it? What are you calling it?
It's definitely shit, but I'm actually almost tempted for touching cloth, but I'm not going to do it because it is rubbish. But it's 2 out of 5 for me. It's the rubbish that I am not offended by.
It's a touching cloth for me because it is shit. It is shit, but. What I'll say is, because we have a 3 degrees of reviewing, it's shit. So I can't call it definitely not shit. It's touching cloth, but it's a high touching cloth because I actually really enjoyed it. And unlike the first one,
I'm doing it. Touching cloth.
Unlike the first one, which I didn't even rewatch before this because I just don't need to rewatch it. I will rewatch it at some point, but. You know, it feels like a slog to rewatch it. Rewatching this, I don't think will feel like a slog. I think I'll have fun rewatching it. And I'll say this, I don't think I'll only rewatch this once. I think I could rewatch this a couple of times. When this pops up as a fiver on iTunes, I could see me going, yeah, I love that. Because I could see me watching it a couple of times. Because when it's fun and it's stupid. And I liked that about it. I liked the ridiculousness of this movie. So yeah, I quite enjoyed it, but it is shit. So
yeah, I have upgraded my Letterboxd review to touch and cloth because you know what, it's not for us.
Yeah,
you know, and as considering how not for me it is, because as is well documented on this show, this kind of stuff does make me. I'm not. I don't watch porn. This isn't porn. I know this isn't porn. But this kind of material is not the kind of stuff that I usually watch. I had a good time watching it, and not just because of Dakota Johnson. It's rubbish. I wonder, but unlike the first one, I think they kind of slightly know it is, and they lean into.
They got it right. They got it right, I think, with this one. They got the tone right. Audience, definitely not shit. 24%.
Good on you.
Good on you. I'm quite surprised at that. Touching cloth, 12%, and shit, 64%.
All right, fine.
Fair enough. You know, it's. I get that a lot of people will not find the playfulness in it that we maybe found, but 24% say definitely not shit. I'm well for that, and bravo to you people. Ian, what have you been watching this week?
So I think I'm the only person in the world, including the people who worked on it, who's seen Ballerina twice. Well, me and my daughter.
That's it again.
Yeah, it was the movie for juniors thing at Cineworld today, and Donna wanted to, bless her, do some housework while not having Lottie all over the place, because my wife is awesome like that. So, fine, I'll go see Ballerina again. I still quite enjoyed it. I think
you enjoyed it the first time.
Yeah, I enjoyed it the first time. Like I said, most awake day the hand's ever been on screen. It's quite a nice little story, and Lottie was dancing in front of the screen at the end of it, so, you know, job done. So, Ballerina, seriously, if you've got little ones, it's really not a bad hour and a half. To things I actually chose to watch. Rewatch John Wick. Gonna go see John Wick 2 on Tuesday. There's previews on Tuesday, on Valentine's Day, which is hilarious. And sorry,
I'm fucking working all day Valentine's Day.
Yeah, sorry, man. Donna was just like, I don't give a fuck about Valentine's Day. You go ahead. So yes, please. John Wick's great, man. The world that they build up in that film, the mythology of the Continental. I've got a feeling they're going to do more with that in the second one, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do.
Is there previews on tomorrow night as well?
Really?
Yeah. Ooh.
Shut the fuck up. I thought it was just Tuesday.
Is it? I'm just going to look now. Oh, I'll go see it tomorrow night.
Are you serious? Oh, I might
could
go
do,
see
yeah.
it tomorrow night.
Yeah, I could do.
Oh, I want to go see John Wick 2.
At City Screen tomorrow night.
Fuck. All right.
9:30.
Oh, this is very boring for people, but I don't care.
Yeah.
You see, it's not. It is only on at my Cineworld on Tuesday, and then opens on Friday. They've got an extended version of Arrival playing tomorrow, though, which is interesting. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, no, John Wick 2. Yeah, Tuesday night. Really looking forward to it. I like the fact that. Spoiler alert for John Wick. You've got Alfie Allen's character, who is just this fucking dickhead kid, and he's kind of set up as the main antagonist of the film, and then he's killed with about 25 minutes to go. And then it's Michael Nyqvist basically driving into John Wick and just going, just fucking...
Yeah, it's great.
It's brilliant. And I like Dean Winters, who has a recurring role in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but he turns up here as Michael Nyqvist's assistant.
Yeah.
And he's
basically the same character as in Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah, except in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, he's a copper, but in this, he's basically like his assistant, and like this just keeps on saying stuff in Russian, and he's just like, English, please. How many more times do I have to, English, please? It's like a running joke, and it's fantastic. But yeah, I mean, the gunshots in John Wick 1, the sound on them is incredible.
Yeah.
Every gunshot feels like a cannon being fired.
Yeah, and of course it's the wonder, and I'd still maintain the reason why John Wick played so well and was so refreshing as an action movie to everybody is no shaky cam, no quick cuts.
Yeah, man. Yeah, nice wide
Shows
shots.
you it all, and I don't think there's anybody better at doing that type of stuff than Keanu Reeves.
Mm-hmm.
He's fucking badass.
Yeah, he's a fucking beast, that man. And
yeah.
The sequel opened in the US, did about double what the original did in its opening weekend.
Fuck.
Amazing.
That's good, that. I'm glad, because I was worried that it might end up just not quite transferring.
Yeah, no, so the first one did, I think, I'm going to pull it up now, but around 15, and John Wick 2's looking to do about 30.
40, it's done.
Shut the fuck up, is it really?
40.6.
Deadline is saying 30. Oh, brilliant, really?
40.6.
Box Office Mojo, come on. Make me happy. Yeah,
That could be. Yeah, 40.6.
Is that international?
That includes, it's only opened in the US and Canada, so that includes US and Canada.
I've got 30 million here. All right, well, fine. Whatever.
30 million in the US, and honestly, it's 10.6 in other territories worldwide, but that's only like Spain and places like that.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's early days, but I mean, yeah, John Wick 1 did like 15, and, fuck, hang on. How is it not fucking... I need to find this out now. Lottie, how much did John Wick make on its opening weekend in the US a few years back?
Who are you asking it to?
Who am I asking it to? I'm asking you, baby.
Oh, Daddy asking me for something.
Do you know how much John Wick made in its opening weekend?
Yes.
How much?
Daddy, don't be silly.
14.4.
It was 14.4 million, Lottie, okay? Can you remember that? I'm going to be asking you later.
Yeah, it went on to gross 86 million worldwide.
Yeah, and apparently Home Entertainment, it did like gangbusters, which is why it got a sequel. But
yeah,
it now feels like we're going to continue getting John Wick films, and I hope they're all called Chapter 3, Chapter 4, Chapter 5.
Yeah.
And yeah, long may it continue. I haven't even seen the second one yet, but the second one's getting such good buzz that it just... Yeah, I'd be... If I didn't have a lot of other stuff to watch, I'd be tempted to watch John Wick again tonight, and I only watched it last night.
It's a fun movie, isn't it?
Fuck, man. It's great. It's fucking great. We'll talk more next week, but yeah. I assume we're doing John Wick next week.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah, of course. Okay, cool. I watched a couple other things. Obviously, I've been on holiday, so it has been a bit hard to watch stuff. But I saw Jackie.
Oh yeah, what's that like? Because I've been thoroughly underwhelmed by all of the promotional bits.
Yeah, so this is Natalie Portman's Best Actress at the Oscars nominated turn as Jackie Kennedy. The film directed by Pablo Larraín, who I believe I've only seen one other film of, The Club, which was the paedophile priests kind of all together.
Oh, of course it was, yeah.
Film that I talked about a while back, which I wasn't that big on. I like Jackie more than that. Even though it is largely because of Natalie Portman, who... It's one of those ones where you do kind of forget that it's Natalie Portman, and you just think, yeah, that's that person. Not necessarily that's Jackie Kennedy, because I don't have enough like grounding in what Jackie Kennedy was like, but like that feels like, yes, that is that character. She's very, very good in it, and it's this the really conflicted portrayal of this woman who, like, was connected to one of the most important people in the world, and then suddenly finds herself being disconnected from that kind of like power seat very quickly, and she's trying to preserve her husband's memory, but also try and kind of like make her mark and show that she's not entirely like her life is not dictated by the death of her husband. And she's very powerful in it. I mean, you've got John Hurt in one of his last performances as well. Very good as this as a priest who she confesses to. Peter Sarsgaard or Ian Beale, you decide, as Bobby Kennedy. He's very good. Micah Levy, who did the score for Under the Skin, does the score for this as well. Very interesting score. Pablo Larraín uses a mix of like stocks of footage, so some of it almost looks like Zapruder film type stuff going on, which is it's an interesting way of going. I mean, it feels very lived in. It almost feels like it could have been of the time. It could have been made in the 60s in some respects, even though the score maybe not, 'cause it's fairly avant-garde. But Portman, I mean, a lot of it is centered around when she did this a TV special which showed people around the White House, which I think was like the first time that American audiences got a glimpse inside the White House. And you've got her kind of smiling for the camera, and her kind of diction and body language changing for the camera, and she plays a woman playing for the camera really well. But it's like the kind of like the obvious difference, but then it feels obvious not just because it's a woman acting, but because it's a woman acting that she's acting in a different way from how the character that she's actually playing would normally act. It's very nuanced in that way, and I thought it was really interesting. Would I watch it again? Probably not. It is rather dry.
A review I read of it, and I don't want to read reviews of movies that I haven't seen yet, new movies like this, but because I'm just... none of the look of it or anything like that has made me want to kind of watch it. I will watch it, but it said that it's one of those films where the performance and the story deserves a much better film than is around this movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's... the thing is, the filmmaking is really interesting, and she is great, but it's... I mean, it's all her.
Whereas because there's a... Am I right in thinking Rob Reiner's doing a story of LBJ and his...
Yes,
what is it later on this year?
Is it Woody Harrelson?
Woody Harrelson's playing LBJ, I think, as well. And that it's got a very good cast in that, I think. So that's telling like a different side of the story, and that could be quite interesting as well. That seems to have gone for a more a less avant-garde, like you were saying, viewpoint.
Yeah, because I mean, you got John Carroll Lynch playing LBJ in this, but he doesn't really get anything to do. And that's the thing. I mean, it's a very intimate portrait of her. And I'll be honest, you know how much I love La La Land. Considering the Oscars, Emma Stone is the front runner, but you've got Natalie Portman nominated as well. I would be all right with Natalie Portman winning it over her. She's not going to, but if Natalie Portman had not won the Oscar for Black Swan, I think it'd be more of a contest.
Yeah, there is that.
I would definitely say that. So, yeah, Jackie, I think it's well worth a watch. It's a solid 4 out of 5.
And it's only like 90 minutes, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like 95 minutes. It's a solid 4 out of 5. It's nowhere near a 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
That would be me on that. Okay, I watched. I've got two others. Is that all right?
Yeah, it's fine.
Cool. The Beatles, 8 days a week, the touring.
Oh yeah, I've been looking forward to this. It's on Amazon Prime. I believe.
Amazon Prime, yeah. I watched it on the plane on Tuesday.
It's very good. That seems like a very good plane movie.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, absolutely. So it kind of is what it says on the tin. Really, it's the Beatles during the touring years. Basically, the Beatles toured up to a certain point. I think they played their last but one gig before Sergeant Pepper's, and then they played a rooftop gig on top of their record label's building, and years later, and that was it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really deal with the formation of the Beatles. It's kind of like they're pretty much there, and they're signed, and they released their first album, and it goes from there. I mean, it's very glossy. It's directed by Ron Howard. It's got talking heads like Whoopi Goldberg and Sigourney Weaver. Even though apparently I listened to an interview with Ron Howard on Kermode and Mayo when this came out. And, because you're thinking, like, Whoopi Goldberg, that's a bit random. Apparently, Howard was just, like, at something with Whoopi Goldberg, and he mentioned he was doing a Beatles documentary, and she was like, well, I saw the Beatles, like, back in the day. It was like, do you want to film something? Oh, yeah, no, sure. So it kind of goes on from there. It's interesting because she's talking about how, they're very white guys, but how the Beatles really knocked down the doors of segregation. They said, basically, they got to a point where they said, if we're going to play your venue, you're not going to have segregation. And things like that. So, which was huge. And so, you got Goldberg kind of giving her take on that, and Sigourney Weaver was at the show at the Hollywood Bowl, I think, so you've got her interviewed as well. But the thing is, it all feels very agreed upon by the living participants. There's no dirt under the fingernails here. It feels like a Hollywood version of a Beatles documentary.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about. We're going to talk about everything, but we're not going to talk about the fact that that John Lennon was a bit of a prick and things like that.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, I mean, the most controversial it gets is we're bigger than Jesus, and that they were stoned for most of the filming of Help. That's kind of about it. And the thing is, the narrative structure is not really that interesting, and I think it's kind of inflected by that. They rise and it's crazy, and they're really enjoying it, but then the media start going against them, and the fans get a bit too intense, and then that starts taking its toll, and then creatively they're not feeling that into it, and but then they decide they're just going to concentrate on the music, and then they bring out all the other music that they brought out. So it's a decent hour and 40 minutes, but it does. I'm a pretty lightweight Beatles fan, and even I didn't feel like I got a lot out of this. A Beatles fan will get nothing out of this.
Yeah.
So there you go. But yeah, I mean, shit. It was on Amazon Prime. I mean, fair play to Amazon as well. Like, this fucker only came out in like October, November, I think it was, and it's already on Amazon. So it was like, well, yes, I will watch this. But yeah, good airplane film. Like you say. Final one for me this week: Live by Night. This is Ben Affleck's one for me, I suppose. Yeah. Made fuck all money, based on a novel by Dennis Lehane, from which he'd already made Gone Baby Gone, from whom I should say. This is Ben Affleck is a kind of a bad guy who doesn't want to be a bad guy, who gets fucked over by his boss, even though he was fucking his boss's missus, and becomes a kind of like a rum impresario in Florida. during Prohibition. And then he starts a relationship with Zoe Saldana, and then he seems to single-handedly spearhead the civil rights movement, basically, by shooting a bunch of people. And then Elle Fanning's in it. And, yeah. And then...
Does she play the typical Elle Fanning character?
What's that? Go on, describe it to me.
Looking a little bit awkward and a little bit like she's not quite supposed to be there, and she's a little bit wise beyond her years, but everybody thinks she's stunning and beautiful, and she sort of uses that, but she don't really do well.
Well, she starts off going to Hollywood. Her dad's Chris Cooper, is like the local police chief. Ben Affleck blackmails Chris Cooper by basically showing him photos of her being addicted to drugs, because she never got to Hollywood. And then she comes back and then becomes a preacher against Ben Affleck. Spoiler alert. Realises that she's not very happy about the whole preacher thing and kills herself.
See, that's a bit more range. I don't know, I think Elle Fanning's a very good actress, but she does seem to have a lot of the same kind of characters.
I agree with that. Yeah, no, for sure. I was really disappointed by this. I mean, even after the reviews and it basically tanked. And the thing is, I feel really sorry for Ben Affleck, because last year it was basically him having to promote Batman vs Superman, then realise that nobody liked it, but then he had to do Justice League anyway. And obviously the news over the last couple of weeks that he's not as involved in the Batman as he was going to be, and now it looks like Matt Reeves is going to do it, who is a safe pair of hands.
Yeah.
But then, even the thing is, the one for them that is this, it's really, really, really by the numbers.
Which is a shame, because his first 3 directorial movies were very, very good.
Yeah, no, quite. I mean, this is the thing. Whereas this is, I mean, he casts himself as the bad guy who doesn't want to do bad things and feels bad about it, but he's going to do them anyway, and... yeah, really? Alright then, fine. I read one review after watching it where it was just like, notice how everyone that he has around him is not as good looking as him. Totally. Yeah, fair enough. And you could guess every single plot beat that happens in it. Every single fucking thing is something you could probably figure out was going to happen. It's 2 hours, 8 minutes long. Apparently Affleck cut an hour out of it. Maybe that would have helped things. Maybe it would have put a bit more flesh on the bones. But as it is, this is very in one out, in one ear, eye out the other. Very intensely forgettable. Looks really nice.
Down that, yeah.
It looks really nice. Robert Richardson did the cinematography.
And he's a great cinematographer.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, exactly. The production design is amazing. It looks like what you'd imagine Prohibition-era Florida to be. I mean, it's stunning. And there's one guy, I don't know the name of the actor, but he's essentially a Klansman who's got a kind of a weird squeaky voice, and he's a bit of a thorn in Affleck's side for about 20 minutes, and he is great. And Chris Cooper is kind of Chris Cooper-y. I think Chris Messina is Affleck's like best friend in it. He's all right. Affleck's fine.
What is quite interesting about Affleck as a director is this is his 4th movie, isn't it? As a director.
Gone Baby Gone, Argo.
The Town.
The Town, of course, yeah.
He's used 4 different cinematographers. That's, I mean, it's not. There's not a problem, because you have certain directors always work with certain cinematographers, or largely work with certain cinematographers, and some will bounce around cinematographers. But you'd think that he'd have one, but it's been 4 not massively different, but different enough cinematographers. It's quite a strange thing for him to do that.
Yeah, no, quite. Yeah, they usually kind of try and stick with the one unless there's like scheduling conflicts. But then for four of them to have scheduling conflicts, I suppose, is a bit of a really. But yeah, no, it just you don't need to rush to it in the slightest.
One of those, yeah.
So there you go. Yeah, I was.
The guy who played the guy who played the Klansman guy is Matthew Mayer, I think, isn't it?
Sure.
Who was the child molester in? It was the child molester in Gone Baby Gone.
Yeah, if to be fair, bless this guy. Child molester, cinematically, yeah, sounds about right. That sounds awful, but in Live by Night, he's either a Klansman or a child molester.
Yeah.
No.
I think he's also a good mate of Affleck's.
Sure, yeah, no, fair enough. It's don't rush to it, bud. Don't rush to it.
I won't now.
Right, tell me about the Autopsy of Jane Doe.
Do you want me to say about that first, or do you want me to talk about my other ones first? I'll talk about the other ones first.
Go on then.
I watched rewatched Arrival. Still think it's very, very good. I actually preferred it on the second watch. You can pick up a lot more in it, Arrival on the second watch. So yeah, I definitely appreciate it more on the second watch. Also rewatched Nocturnal Animals. Again, the same. It got a lot better on the second watch, and I thought it was pretty fucking fantastic on the first watch. So yeah, magnificent. Watched them over 2 nights, and it's staggering that Amy Adams is in both of them.
Agreed.
What else did I watch? I watched The Edge of 17.
Oh, how is this? I'm intrigued.
Right. It's a peculiar one. The Edge of 17. So it's directed by Kelly Freeman Craig, produced by James L. Brooks. So it's quite strange to see the Gracie Films logo come before it, the one that you used to see at the end of every Simpsons episode, and it comes up against the fucking film. It kind of made me go, "What the fuck?" Starring Haley Steinfeld, Woody Harrelson, Kira Sedgwick, and Blake Jenner, the lead from Everybody Wants Some in it.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah, so him and Haley Steinfeld are twins, and they're growing up. He's pretty much great at everything. He's says everything, really popular, and mummy's boy, mummy's favourite, and everything like that. Whereas she's not. She's quite awkward. She plays a character called, I'm trying to remember her name now, Nadine. She's quite awkward and a little bit reserved within herself, and can't quite find herself where she fits into everything. But she's a really strong relationship with her father. Then she sees her father have a heart attack in front of her and dies. And it fast forwards to just before she's 17, so it's like 4 years later, 5 years later, 4 or 5 years later. And she's still not found a place for herself. She's only got one friend in the world that she got when she was younger, but that's the only friendship she managed to sort of cultivate and have throughout her life. Her brother is still the most popular kid at school, and everything's right. Kira Sedgwick, her mum, essentially has kind of fallen apart since her father died, but not like in a she's an alcoholic or she's what is it? She's maintaining her job. She's fine. It's just emotionally she's fucking crippled by the whole thing. And yeah, it's kind of that, and it's about her kind of trying to find her place in life and find her way through when she loses her best friend because her best friend ends up drunkenly sleeping with her brother. And then they start having a relationship, and she's angry about that. And she confesses and confides all of this to Woody Harrelson, her teacher, who doesn't fucking give a shit, doesn't want her to do this, and he's just a bit of a dick to her, but in quite a nice and sweet way. Now, for a start off, it is about an hour and 45 minutes long, which could possibly be a little bit too long for it.
Right.
it's also achingly trying to be a little bit more serious than it actually is, but also trying to be a little bit too cool with it as well. And it's like somebody remembering their teenage years and then 10, 15 years later putting themselves in a teenager now. And it doesn't quite work like that because the dynamics of these things change over 10 years. And that's what it feels a little bit like. And it's also let down by the fact that the lead character, Nadine, Haley Stanfield's very good in it, but the character is actually quite unlikable. She's a bit of a dick. And you can see why people don't like her and why she's not popular. Because she's a dick. She's self-obsessed. And her self-obsession is misery. She's obsessed with how miserable she is and how miserable everyone makes her and how she doesn't fit in. And so it ticks along at that, and you're kind of going, you kind of fucking deserve everything that's going on. You know, these people aren't the arseholes that are oppressing you. You're the arsehole in all of this. Quickly, you are recording because my recorder just finished to be 1 hour and 40 minutes.
Yep.
Yes, cool. So, there is that. It is that she's the dickhead in all of this, and her brother doesn't lead the perfect life that she seems to bestow upon him, etc., and things like that. So there's all that going on. But then it kind of does pull it back at the end where there's a kind of altercation between her and her brother where it flicks a little bit on and you realise that she's not just self-obsessed. She has a serious problem in the fact that this isn't somebody who just constantly feels sorry for herself. This is somebody who actually has a severe mental issue of the fact that she fucking can't stand herself. She doesn't like herself. Everybody in the world that she thinks dislikes her. The only problem with it all is she dislikes herself more than all of these people dislike her, which kind of brings it back round and gives it more of a, do you know what? It's not just somebody thinking it's the world is against them. It's somebody who just doesn't like themselves and the world they're in, but is trying to fucking get on with all of these hormones and everything like that. And so it kind of starts to pull itself back around. So for the first hour and a bit, you go in, fuck you deserve all this. And then for like 30 minutes, you go in, Jesus, you know, maybe she could fucking deal with this a little bit better and catch a fucking break. Don't do that. Oh, God, that's not gone very well, has it? And then for the last 10 minutes, you go in, kind of feel sorry for her now.
Yeah.
And it kind of works like that. It's well worth a watch, but it'll piss you off for the first 45 minutes.
Okay.
To no end. Because she's just a dick. So it's worth a watch, but it wasn't as good as I was hoping it was going to be. Mm-hmm. Whereas the Autopsy of Jane Doe, directed by Andre Overdell, who directed the Troll Hunter.
Let's fucking do this.
Yeah. Stars Emile Hirsch and Brian Cox as father and son coroners. Who Emile Hirsch is he's working with his dad. He's also got a girlfriend played by Ophelia Lovebond, who is hardly in it at all. He's mostly just Brian Cox and Emile Hirsch. He's saying to Ophelia Lovebond that that he doesn't want to be doing this, and he wants to, he wants to move away from it all in one short little scene. He gets all that across, but it kind of makes sense. But you've already seen him doing his thing, a little bit of the coroner thing with his dad, but you get the feeling that he's not lying to his dad about not wanting to do this. He's lying to her about not wanting to do it. Because when he's with his dad doing this, he seems to be having a fucking blast. And he seems to enjoy the fact that he's working with his dad, and his dad's very good at this, and he's watching his dad be fucking really good at what he does, and it all works like that, and it's kind of cool, and it's nice like that. So they've just finished doing an autopsy. He's about to leave, about to go on a date with his girlfriend, but the town sheriff is bringing a body in for them to do an autopsy on, and he kind of says, look, I need to go and help my dad on this because this is strange that the sheriff has brought this girl in now, and it didn't look weird. So agrees that he'll go off, he'll do this, then he'll give her a call, and they'll go out. Goes down, and the sheriff basically says, look, we found this girl buried in the basement at this weird murder scene we went to, and we can't place her there. We can't work out why she's there, how she's got there. We need an autopsy now. We need a cause of death now, tonight. So Emile Hirsch and Brian Cox get to working on doing the autopsy of this woman who, as they go further and further, seems to look on the outside like nothing's happened to her at all, but has all of these injuries. And I'm not going to go into too much detail because people should watch this movie, is the reason why. So I'm going to basically stop there. She's got all of these injuries that don't marry up with the external injuries she's got, and then things start to get fucking weird. It's fantastic. It genuinely is one of the best modern horrors I've seen in a long, long, long time.
I'm watching this tonight, man.
The scene before it starts getting weird, just of Emile Hirsch and Brian Cox starting the autopsy and doing the autopsy as a regular autopsy before things start getting and it's just, well, this is a bit strange, isn't it? And this is a bit strange. It's fantastic. It's incredibly fascinating and tense and magnificently played between Emile Hirsch and Brian Cox, who are both brilliant actors. You know, like, that helps elevate the film. The fact that the two leads who are mostly in it are both very strong actors. But then when things do get weird, there's a lot of tension to it. It kicks on at a fucking hell of a pace. It's only like 85 minutes long, I think. It looks fantastic. Nobody does something where you go, well, that was stupid. It all works perfectly well. There's no overblown moments in it where it goes too big. It all fits together nicely. It doesn't go the places you're expecting it to go. The actual story of how it actually becomes is very, very good and makes perfect sense. It's a really, really impressive flick. Absolutely. What I would say is, if this gets any kind of cinema release in the UK, like if it crops up that it's going to be on at City Screen on like a fucking Tuesday night as part of like their culture shot they do or anything like that, I'd love to see this on the big screen. Because it's so tense, that scene, and it's so fascinating and there's so much of it. But yeah, an absolute, if you're listening to this podcast, this is an absolute thorough recommend, because you will fucking get on. People will really dig this. I think I was quite blown away by it. I thought it's a very impressive movie.
Ace, that sounds brilliant.
Yeah, it is. I will be staggered if you don't really fucking enjoy this.
I'll tell you next week.
Yes,
Well, I'll probably tell you before then, but
yeah. But that's it for me for this week. What I've watched. I don't think we've got any questions.
Fuckers.
We have a double check on that. We didn't last time I checked, but I haven't checked for a little bit because I've been at work. No, we don't.
No, we don't.
No questions. So no questions there. Ian, what we're covering next week? We've already told people, haven't we?
Yes, buddy.
John Wick 2. Very much looking forward to this one.
Fucking pumped.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
I am as well. I was going to rewatch the first one, but I only watched like about 2-3 months ago, so I don't think I need to rewatch it again, but I might anyway, depending on which night I go to watch it, because I might go and watch it tomorrow night, I might go and watch it Tuesday night, or I might go and watch it Friday. Who knows?
Got choices.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go see The Great Wall next week as well.
I'm not, probably.
Yeah,
I might
enough.
actually. Then again, depending on when I see John Wick, I might even go and watch The Great Wall as well. Even though that movie looks like shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm fascinated.
It's got you a little bit, and it's got you interested.
I'm fucking fascinated. It could well be terrible. It really, really could be shocking, but I need to see that film.
Good. I'm glad that you are, because you've been pumped for it since the start. But you don't have to be able to put your finger on why.
Matt Damon versus Dragons, man. Like, directed by Zhang Yimou. Like, fine, yeah, why not?
It's already made a shitload of money.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, it has. It's weird as well. There is an HD version available online, and a guy in work watched it months ago, and like he was just like, Ian, have you seen that new Matt Damon film yet? And this was like October, November, so I was like, what? Which one? Which one? And he was like, yeah, I really enjoyed it. What was it about? There were some dragons in it, and I was thinking in the back of my head, like, is he talking about the Great Wall, or is he just talking about like a Matt Damon film with dragons that I don't remember? Not dragon, well, monsters. And it was like, was this set in China? And he was like, yeah, I think so. And he was like, well, it's the Great Wall of China, so either it was set in China or, you know, it's probably... I was like, was it called the Great Wall? He was like, yeah, that was it. And I was thinking of saying to him, like, how did you not know it was in China? But, there's been a torrent version of this knocking around for fucking yonks. And random guy in work saw it. You know,
Fair enough. He enjoyed it as well?
He had a good time with it. Yeah, he said it was a laugh. Like, he said he didn't understand what was going on in some bits of it, but, like, he had fun with it. So, yeah, sure.
Fair enough.
I want to see... I'll be honest, I torrent stuff, but I actually want to see this on a big screen in good quality. Like, Zhang Yimou, I want to see his shit on as good a canvas as humanly possible. So, you know, hey.
Fair play to you, but yeah. Cool. So, yes, what to cover. So, that was episode 196 of Dude and Monkey. We hope you enjoyed listening. And I know I enjoyed recording it. So, yeah. So we shall speak to you next week when we get the Wickening. So, yeah. Thank you very much for listening, guys. Over and out. Goodbye.
Bye.